Okay, what's good, YouTube? Pay no attention to the fit. I'll just be chilling. I just put on anything. Don't matter to me. Um, there's gonna be another video after this one. It's not gonna be today because editing takes. We do our own editing, or I ain't gonna even say we. My wife does the editing because she's better than me at doing it. So I'm the entertainer. I just say the stuff. She handles it. That takes time. So videos are gonna be spaced out. It's gonna be another basketball video because there's stuff in the basketball world right now that is very juicy right now, especially when it pertains to my team. But I'm not gonna talk about the my team stuff today because what the next video is gonna be about. Right now, there's rumors about Ben Simmons in the Warriors. I'm gonna talk about that in a different video. What I'm going to talk about today, which is what I meant to talk about yesterday, but was wrapped up, is the Lakers recently. Obviously, I didn't seen it. The Lakers went out and got a plethora of people, and one of the biggest people that they got that doesn't make sense to me, but a lot of people are trying to convince me it makes sense. It doesn't. When you round it out all together, it does not make sense. Is Russell Westbrook, obviously. Out of all the people the Lakers got, Russell Westbrook makes the least amount of sense to me. And I'm not a Laker hater because I like LeBron. Even though I'm a Warriors fan and I'm with Curry. '09 since Curry. Or since then. I like LeBron. The thing that I don't understand though with this one, this particular trade, because I'm gonna talk about all the trade pieces, but I'm gonna cover him first. Russell Westbrook being on the Lakers. This is one of the reasons why I'm gonna say it failed because he comes with reasons. One of the reasons why I don't think that particular trade is gonna work with him is because since Kevin Durant left, Russell Westbrook hasn't done anything. I know people can say he's put up triple doubles, he's done this on teams, he's done that. Like I said in the last video, the game is about winning. Russell Westbrook has not done anything to help his team in any type of way. He has gotten, and when he had when I talk about consistency with that, let me break down what I mean. Consistency when it comes to him, because he's a player that exudes confidence. I'm that alpha dog. Okay. When Michael Jordan says, "I see myself in you," I'm automatically gonna look at you and be like, "Okay, I gotta see I gotta see you bring some of that same grit and stuff he brought to the game and made his teams better with. Same formula." When Kevin Durant left, first year, Russ had a chance to show what he could do on his own team. Okay, he won MVP. That's a nice accolade. Got to the playoffs, but you got knocked out the first round. The previous years that follow after that, in his OKC tenure, all got eliminated first round, with the last one concluding with Lillard knocking him out. Okay, we go to Houston. James Harden and him. Obviously, that wasn't going to work because Harden has a feminine type of ego where he wants everything to be his way. And he showed that. I addressed that in the last video. So that didn't work. Russ is Russ. Russ ain't going to change. So going to the Wizards, did what he was supposed to do on the Wizards. Coming to the Lakers now. The biggest errors with Westbrook being on the Lakers. For starters, one, LeBron is on the team. Any team you come to and LeBron is on the team revolves around LeBron ball. What is LeBron ball, sir? And some of y'all don't know what it is yet. LeBron ball is where, obviously, LeBron is the most dominant with the ball because he's known as a ball dominant player, and he's the system. He's a ball dominant type of system player. In his system, you have to be able to shoot. 9 times out of 10, that's where his most successful systems has been with that. Cleveland was the best example of. Actually, no, the Heat was the best example of that, and then Cleveland. And then the same thing with the Lakers because he got AD. But here's the thing: it was LeBron and AD as the certified number 1 and number 2 stars, and now you add Westbrook into the mix. Okay, so you have LeBron, who is a streaky shooter. Everybody knows that. Even though he's gotten more consistent with it over the years, he's still streaky. So you have a streaky shooter in LeBron. Then you go to Russell Westbrook. You can trust LeBron to shoot to an extent. You can trust his streaks to come on more consistently than Westbrook's. He still got free throw line problems, though. That's one error on him. But Westbrook has poor free throw shooting problems and hasn't fixed them yet. Russell Westbrook, if you look at the stats or you just watch him play, Russell Westbrook is he's the worst three-point shooter in NBA history. It was Charles Barkley before him, but Westbrook took his place. With how he liked to play, Westbrook took his place. So that's the first error, because you need to be able to shoot in the LeBron offense. You can't shoot, you're going to be a liability. Don't matter what else you contribute. If you can't shoot, number two, the ego. That's what I'm going to go with, the ego. Russell Westbrook does have an ego. That is very common and very easy to tell. And when it comes to the reason why I'm going to mention his ego with this, to win championships, you must be able to sacrifice something. Russell Westbrook is played with a lot of players so far. While all those players can say something about, he made my game better. Paul George is the best candidate for that. He boosted his game. But Russ didn't have to sacrifice anything because that was his team. So PG was able to flourish coming onto Russ's team, just fitting in. Russ is going to LeBron's team now. Russ has to be able to sacrifice something. That means one of two things for Russ in his what you gonna call it? In his play style of how he plays his game, you have to. What you doing there? And his play style of his game, that means either he has to learn how to shoot or he has to shoot less in terms of threes. Learning how to shoot the three-pointers is what I mean by that, because Russ is never going to change the game of slashing. But the problem with him doing that specific part of the game, he does need to improve, because if you can shoot threes, the other mechanics in the other areas of the game, it'll open up the rest of your game. That means your midi and your inside. We already know he got the inside. The midi, the legend, his midi is not as consistent as everybody thinks it is. It's just it's an in-streak type of jumper. He has to be on a streak with that. So you have two inconsistencies with, you have three actually. You have the free throw, the midi, and the three-point shooting. That's going to become a problem for him playing with Braun at some point. But then with the third thing being, for him first, Russell Westbrook is getting old. His game is based on athleticism. You're already seeing Braun starting to slow down because age is starting to catch up with him. Russell Westbrook, you could make the case, has a similar game in terms of explosiveness. And when your athleticism starts to decline, you have to revolve or adjust your game accordingly to it to remain consistent in what you're doing. So in his case, he hasn't done that yet. He's still fast-paced, running gun, that type of player. I think he's 33 or 34. I don't think he'll be able to keep doing that for too much longer. And then the other part of that, one of the risks that comes with him too with that, to an extent, his injury history. Russell Westbrook isn't an injury-prone-ish type of player like that, but when the injuries do flare up, he has knee problems. That is known. He has knee problems because of what Patrick Beverley did. He's always going to have those. One of them injuries come up, that's it. You don't have age on your side either. So that's more of a risk. And then the last thing being with him. Actually, no, that's really it. You got his shooting, his ego, and the fit all together. It's a very, very questionable fit, because out of all the people that they got, Russell Westbrook is the one that has to make the most amount of impact, because the Lakers are going into the season thinking when LeBron can't give 100% all the time, they can just give it to Russ. Okay, Russ get hurt, it falls back on LeBron. LeBron not superhuman no more. I mentioned that in the last video. So if Russ get hurt and it's just on LeBron, that puts more pressure on AD and LeBron. Shoot. And then you add in the fact that the cast of people that they got for their bench, all them people are old. I was telling somebody earlier, LeBron just recreated the 2012-2013 Knicks. That was Melo's best season of his career. Led the league in scoring, all that. Got to the playoffs, but the problem with his team, too old. They were way too old. The only difference I see in that team and this one is the fact that they have a little bit more star power. But the problem with it is, if you want to even call it, they are old. And I know I saw his tweet about keep the same energy if he start finding success. I'm going to keep it consistent. Because this super team stuff, that is a super team. I'm going to keep it consistent. If he don't win in his first year, I don't care. If LeBron do not win in the same year he created this, because he created that team, if he don't win, he just damaging the legacy even further. Charles Barkley already said it. This is why him and Michael Jordan, only the new people of this generation can acknowledge LeBron James is the GOAT. They all going to say it. Most of them are going to say, he got better numbers than Jordan, this and this and this. The one thing he'll never beat Michael Jordan at. Perfect finals record. And what he brought to the team. They are a completely different caliber in terms of a player. So we go to the next person. We got Melo. We know what Melo gonna bring. Here's why I don't like Melo. But actually no, so it's gonna come into. Here's the thing with Melo. Melo is finna be 37. Okay, so he's up there on the oldest of the team, if not the oldest, because he's older than LeBron. You have Carmelo Anthony at 37. Melo had a resurgence, obviously in Portland. He had his resurgence. Here's the thing, though. Don't play defense. At this point in Carmelo Anthony's career, you only know him for scoring. That's it. That's whatever. Anybody in the league can score now. Can you play defense? Can you bring anything else to the team? One-dimensional. That ain't going to change, and he's old now. So his defense was never good like that anyway. So now it's just that much more worse. I'm not hyped with that. Dwight Howard. That's him. That's one of the more consistent pieces on the team because Dwight's role at this point is to set picks, play defense, get rebounds. He's going to do his part. He's a positive. Trevor Ariza. I give him the defense. He'll play defense. I give him that. I question how much of an impact he can make now at his age, though, because he's really starting to get up there. And when I think of Trevor Ariza now, I always think of, I don't view him as a consistent shooter. I always think of, I hear Trevor Ariza, I think of Houston 27 missed threes. Ariza had a huge part in that. Inconsistency in terms of shooting. I'm not all in on that one. And then we go to, let me see, you got Carmelo, you got Ariza, you got Dwight. The brightest spots of the team that they have, out of everybody that they got realistically, obviously, is Malik Monk and Kendrick Nunn. Now, and even with them two not proven. That's probably the Lakers, they're trying to build for when LeBron actually leave and when he retired. But Malik is not proven. All them years in Charlotte, didn't really do nothing. He is a star. He's a rising young star, but he's not a star, not an all-star player either. He's a good role player. That's about it. Okay, that's a maybe. Kendrick Nunn, it's the same thing. He's an older rookie. Ain't really done nothing. No, he was with the Heat, but ain't really done nothing. So when you look at the whole entire Lakers team altogether, because I'm always be one of the people that I believe in the way I'm looking at the Lakers. This is how I'm going to break it down. Like I told some of my friends that have spoken to me about this already. If LeBron or AD gets hurt, that team is done. Mainly LeBron, because I'm not hype on Russell Westbrook has not shown he can do what LeBron can do in terms of carrying a team further than what he's done. He's not that type of player. He had his own team and couldn't do it. And then Anthony Davis, I don't trust him either because he made a glass. I think I said that in my last video. He made a glass. You spit on him, he done. At this point, he's starting to get extremely injury prone, so you don't know how many games you're going to get out of him in the season. And in an 82-game season, there's no guarantee that he's going to be there all the way, especially not around the playoffs. So, obviously, losing AD affected them on the defensive end because they could have used him this year or last year. They could have used him. but he was gone. But the main piece that makes it work all together, LeBron. LeBron get hurt, the Lakers, they done. Season's done. I don't trust Russ. I don't trust Anthony Davis. And them bench players that they got, they not proved they ain't they. It's a mix of too old, and only a few of them are young. That is not going to be enough, and they don't have experience. Not enough experience. I'm not a Lakers hater, but I'm just opening up the door to being realistic with y'all out there. Any team with LeBron, now obviously any team with LeBron on it is going to be playoff bound at least. I give them that. Even you push it somewhat to finals bound. But if something happens to him, kiss them dreams goodbye. That's it. That's the best way I can put it. I've seen so many stories about it, but I'm not getting on that train. I'm gonna keep the same energy I have with what I said, because LeBron had every right to say what he said in his tweet about keep that same energy about everybody doubting us, basically him thinking he's the underdog. He's not an underdog. Every season when he comes in, people expect him to make the playoffs.